what's interesting about today and being here at the CES show is that it really shows clearly that our security industry needs to be aware of what is happening outside our incubator, our wonderful world of security. Their technology is now moving towards us at a rapid pace, as I said before, but what I see now more than any time ever is that those who are involved in technology must come to shows like this to get awareness of other areas of the world that technology is now breeding. You know, if it's France, if it's Israel, if it's wherever it is, this show really shows a lot of what we need to know to be prepared for the future. Please read Security Business Magazine, because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to get the information.
Cameras, photo detectors have been very well advanced into being able to cover very wide spectrums. But lasers are in essence monochrome.
Yeah.
I mean, one color. So if you're in a dark room and you turn on, say, a red laser, everything is red. And what you see, everything is 50 shades of red. That's what you see in a dark room with a red laser. Now, already for years, people have been looking, how can we make wideband lasers that cover a large spectrum, right?
We use laser illumination in the day for fence detection.
There you
like
go.
Vumi was one of the companies that used laser illumination.
But you can do fence detection with a monochrome laser.
Correct.
But if you want to do inspection,
correct,
then monochrome laser is very poor.
Correct.
I sometimes compare this with black and white TV.
Yes.
Black and white TV is boring. You see 50 shades of gray.
Correct.
But your eyes are very good photo detectors, very good cameras. They cover a very wide band, and your photo camera also covers a very wide band. Only lights are very poor. Now, wide bands were invented 10 years ago. You mix a lot of lasers, a lot of technology, and then you get a wideband laser. Big, bulky, uses a lot of power, expensive, you don't a lot of downtime. So we said, if we can crack this nut and make this, small and power, so we built a photonic IC. That photonic IC basically uses the power that is coming in from a seed laser and generates a wideband spectrum. And this wideband spectrum, well, that's a beautiful light that creates. Now, at this moment, we do minus 3 dB is 400 dB, for 400 nanometers. Minus 20 dB is 1500 nanometers. So, and your eye is only 500 nanometers. So 1500 nanometers is very wide. So everything that happens in that 50 nanometer, you can pick up with a photo detector if you have a light that illuminates that whole spectrum.
Yep.
Now think about applications. I mean, for instance, you have tuning lasers that inspect your eye. So you need your eye, you need stable, and then a laser that scans your eye. With every scan that does 1450, 1460, 4070, they do all the pictures get integrated into one picture as if it was a wideband laser. Well, now you can inspect your eye in a single second because you illuminate it with a wideband, and then you have a sensor that picks up the feedback directly from the whole eye over the whole spectrum.
Wow.
So this is really very disruptive technology that we expect is going to make a real big difference in the market, because now it is not bulky, it has a good uptime because it's a passive element. So all the difficulties with the wideband lasers have been resolved. I've written a white paper recently with the name "What is the Catch?" Because people ask, it's so good, what is the catch? The problem is, there is no catch. The problem is, photo detectors have been really becoming very advanced. Lasers have been staying monochrome over that period, or you have a very big and heavy bulky thing. So this is really a breakthrough.
So I see a lot of this applying to when we look at the .mil.gov space in our country, I see a lot of applications and what we could do on the military side. Do you see military applications?
We don't. I mean, we're from the Netherlands. We are not so military focused. Let me put it that way.
We're in the United States.
So yeah, we need to move to the United States.
So do you have software that you've created, or you just use anyone's software?
We are the
You're
lamp.
simply the lab.
We are the lamp. And most of the lamps are just not good enough.
Correct.
For the sensor and the software.
Correct.
Or they create too much noise, or they are not sensitive enough. So the light source is not bright enough.
Right.
So all these things are being resolved.
So this could tie to different differences in circumstances of a specific structure, or a specific place, from petrochemical to...
It can detect, for instance, micro cracks
Right.
way better. If you try to identify a micro crack with a monochrome laser, yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, you do it, right? But you're way better off if
the
you
airline
can.
industry is a good example of that.
Exactly.
So I would say that probably would be something.
But also, pipe inspection. If you can do pipe inspections with not a monochrome light, but with a full color light, you're way better off.
Well, if I looked at a pipeline, right? How would I apply your technology to, say, lengths of pipeline? How would I position your laser to detect?
Right.
Would it be ongoing, or would you have to take? It would be service elements.
What you usually do is you have the detector next to the laser, right?
Yes.
And then you scan with the laser the surface.
Got it.
And in a factory that can be on a robot arm.
Of course.
If you want to do it over larger space, you can do it now on a drone.
Right. So the drone will apply to this.
But you need the detector on the drone, you need the laser on the drone, and the detector takes the feedback from the surface and need to look with AI on what the disruptions are.
Interesting. A very interesting product and technology. And frankly, when we talk about innovation, right, and we talk about modernization, we talk about what's going to change the industry. I just really met the inventor of the Wi-Fi, and the inventor of the Wi-Fi, Mr. Links, is actually the inventor of Linksys and the birth of this. They have created laser on a different level. Laser illumination, laser solution that is compact and potentially can be commercialized. Now, Black Ops, soon, potentially more. We're going to be spending more time with Mr. Links because, frankly, what he has developed is a game changer, for sure. It has applications in virtually every area, from critical infrastructure, petrochemical, pipeline security. I would say from defining potential threats and weaknesses in terms of infrastructure. When we talk about OT, operational technology, talk about critical infrastructure technology, these type of technologies, these type of products can definitely, with potentially some innovative integration with LiDAR, could be very remarkable. So looking forward to seeing what happens.
Safe Living provides information to family caregivers who have seniors at home about their well-being. And we do that through our radar-based device, which we can place on a shelf, and we sense human motion. This human motion we display over the corresponding app for family members, where they always can check how their loved ones are doing. And in case of an emergency, like this person is not able to move and so on, our device detects that and sends an alert to family members to inform them about the emergency. Then we have also, for the seniors, we have also an panic button where they also can use this app and trigger actively an alert to the caregivers, to the family members, and they will know where they are. And this works worldwide, so this is compatible worldwide.
Based on the sensor within it, Is it micromotion radar?
Yes, it's
So
radar.
is it your micromotion sensor chip, or is it someone else's
No,
chip?
we developed
You
our
developed
own.
the chip.
Yeah, it's our own radar chip.
So
Exactly.
explain. First of all, is it produced in Switzerland, or is it produced? Where is it produced?
We're producing in Switzerland everything at the moment. And then we are launching in the US in spring, and our manufacturing partner has also a subsidiary in the US.
So
where we
PCB is going to be created in the US?
Yes. Everything is going to manufacture in the US.
So explain so when we talk about micromotion, right, there's a lot of micromotion out there. So what makes you different then? So there's a lot of products in the marketplace. What makes you different?
So one part of this whole magic is our sensor, of course, but the second part are our algorithms, where we really understand human motion. So our system is compatible with pets, with children, and you don't need to calibrate anything. It's plug and play and it runs. So you install it, you connect it to the Wi-Fi, and you don't have nothing to do with it anymore.
From fall detection, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't trigger based on heartbeat or breathing. It's
No.
all based on movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not about fall detection we're coming from this field. We're coming from psychiatric clinics where there are a lot of falls happening in nursing homes. But it's more about a holistic emergency or holistic safety system which you have at home. So we have so much emergencies or potential emergencies. For example, also we had a customer, he had a stroke. He was always in the movement, but we cannot detect the stroke, but we can detect something is off. Why is this person still in the bedroom moving really irregular? And those patterns we really understand, and that's why we use AI for that.
So when we talk about AI, like deep learning,
Yes.
or machine learning, I guess,
Yes.
is it pre-programmed machine learning applications,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we have.
So you pre-programmed the specific sequence of what's being determined prior to that event.
Yes, exactly.
There's no learning. There's no learning. It's already established.
It is already established, but of course, with every installation, our system becomes better and better.
Based on what I'm hearing about really the digital health safe living application, I think that it fits well with senior care in the United States. The challenge will always be the competitive influencers in the marketplace and how well they can set themselves apart from others in the industry. So I would say that it has a solid concept, solid process. I think that we'll see if it can actually compete in the marketplace, and price point will be everything, and how it ties in. I think a play would be to work with the residential integrators. I think that's a good play for them if they can create a good partner channel in the U.S.
So we're here with Solaires out of Canada, and talking about your technology that uses wasted light to power rechargeable batteries.
Exactly.
Just tell us a little bit more about that and how it might apply to the security industry.
So for the security industry, we are working on developing modules, these photovoltaic modules, which we call PV modules, that are designed with our partners to integrate into smart locks. Now this could be on the outside of the lock. Let's say you're in an office building or a hotel and the hallway is always lit up. It's a perfect place to absorb light indoors. Or it could be on the back side of the lock and just inside at all times if you're at a home and you don't want to be left out in the elements all the time. Because these devices are manufactured and specialized for indoor light. So it's the waste light that we see here. Right now, in here, it looks like it's very bright. It is very bright up there. When you get down here, we're at roughly 150, 175 lux, which is about the light that you'll see at your house. So this is a very good approximation of the light that we get in our house. And we can use that to power, usually what we're doing is powering remote controls. Stuff like that to recharge them so you don't have to recharge the batteries. But just as easily, it can be used for smart door locks. It can be used for work on keyboards, but that's not so much the security industry. We also are working with some manufacturers on small security cameras as well, though that requires a little bit more work in progress.
So let's talk about first of all, the technology specifically, okay? when we come to the panel, the solar panel that you have, we call it the ingestion, light ingestion.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Where is it produced?
So the light is, we use something called perovskite.
What is it?
Perovskite.
Perovskite.
It's a class of compounds, class of chemical compounds that are new to the solar industry. They've only been researched and developed, even discovered maybe a decade ago, and rapidly have become the darling of the solar industry because they're very efficient, they're very easily tuned, and that's what we find very exciting, is that they are tuned specifically for indoor light. We can change the chemical compound and get something for outdoor light, but not for that. So if you're looking at old silicon modules, I mean, you had a calculator, right, that had the little, photovoltaic module that would charge your calculator back in the day, but didn't do much more because that was very, very inefficient and couldn't absorb much light. So all it could do was a calculator, and not even a particularly exciting calculator at that. But because the technology's got more nuanced and advanced, we're getting indoor light efficiency absorption of 35%, which means that 35% of all the light that hits these panels gets converted into electricity that we can then use.
For, say, the security industry, you see it as a primary aspect of its use without backup, or
it will be used without backup, completely portable, completely without any kind of hookup to mains. It'll be the battery itself. We don't even have, the battery can be hidden away. It doesn't have to be accessible. You don't have to change the battery ever. It'll just be the solar panel that recharges it.
So with respect to that, so if I were to use this, what is the standard? Do you have a standard requirement for it being in a lighted environment?
As long as there's some light, it will work. I mean, the more light, the better. No matter what, you can always scale with more light. You can get more power if you give more light to it, but it's always going to do roughly about 35% of that power back. So if you need more power, you better hope you're in a place with a lot of light.
What is your goal? What is the company's goal in regards to the marketplace? Obviously, you want to sell, but that's not really a goal. The goal is your business model, your strategy.
So the primary goal is sustainability. The reason that we are in this company is for sustainability. One of the big benefits of perovskite technology over even silicon or many of the other technologies is that it is much cleaner than batteries, much cleaner than silicon. Batteries are to mine and to store, and especially disposable batteries that get then dispose of, take up a lot of carbon to make, or carbon efficiencies to make. And silicon, while it is green, is probably the most polluting of all green energies, because it takes so much energy to purify and to shape and to form and to especially purify silicon. It has to be super pure. This is not that extent.
So if I'm an architect, and I'm planning on right now building a LEED-based building, right?
Yep.
So it needs to be LEED certified. It's going to be green certified. Tell me how many points. What are we looking at?
That I cannot help you with right now. I have not done that kind of research, and I'm not sure.
Well, that's something to look forward to. What's interesting about solar technology, being adaptive to our security industry, and reusable batteries and reusable power has a place, especially in LEED-based building architecture. How to create that process where they gain points for those LEED projects. I see that's definitely something that they can look forward to. I think that they've got a technology that can operate, but there's going to be a lot of work to get believers in the security industry, specifically because of the liability of it being a primary versus a secondary type solution.
Here with OneMeta, and we're with Pierre this time, and he's going to grill the expert Saul on the OneMeta product and some of the different kinds of applications and security that we were thinking of.
So tell me a little bit about Meta first, where you're at in the industry, so I can understand a little bit better.
Absolutely. So we created an ecosystem. AI is actually a part of the holistic approach. So we, on the AI aspect of it, we take your words and we start forecasting what you're going to say 3 to 4 words in advance, So by the time you finish your sentence, we translate in 152 languages, not only on text but on audio as well. So our accuracy is up to 95%, compared to other companies that it's more like humans are 84, other companies are about 87%, we're up to 95%. And then in terms of speed, companies are used about 0.8 to 1.2 seconds. We are 1/8 of a second, so 0.125, and that's based on the architecture that we have built.
So what's your base platform built on? I mean, is it your own software? Have you built code all ground up, or do you use Microsoft at all in terms of adding the benefit of what they've done in terms of AI, or we'll say machine learning, deep learning, or is it all yours?
So it's an aggregation of several models. So
which is fine. Yeah.
So on the we have 3 acts. We have the pre-AI, the AI, and the post-AI.
Right.
So on pre-AI is our own architecture. We have voice isolation, we have noise cancellation, because the reality is that the microphone, for instance, accounts up to 30% of the accuracy. Just the microphone. This is pre-AI. This is the old concept of garbage in, garbage out.
Correct.
So we need to make sure that what goes into the microphone, it's very, very high quality. So in terms of an analogy, we take the wave for your voice and put high resolution, we high pixelate it and make it very, very sound and robust.
Very clear.
So very, very, very clear. Then we go into the AI, and in the AI we have a juxtaposition on top of several models, and we look at Spanish is Azure.
Yes.
Spanish long sentences or long paragraph is more Google. So we start looking at different models and the size.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So we look at.
So you use. That's good.
Yeah.
No, but you're using already
established models.
Standard
Correct.
Okay,
And then we build upon it. So you take a lot of these models of the shelf, but the training is really the key. So we build proprietarily the training with organic data and synthetic data.
Yep.
So we build these trainings on our models, and that's how they get so accurate.
So talk about use cases, right, for you, right? And, obviously the market is entrenched with a lot of different ideas.
Correct.
And we all know that, unfortunately, because of the market confusion, I always ask, what is going to be your directive in terms of the market? What is your really strategy to position yourself away from all the market confusion? Because translation is well known, right? So when you move away from translation, you go into really, I would say continuous learning, because you are going into a continuous learning mode.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because you're adding and changing through synthetic
correct data,
neural data.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a very good question. So in terms of our business model and the niche markets, this year, the 2023 was a fascinating year. We created about 6 different products. We went to the market and got a specific revenue on all of the products and look at different markets and niche audiences for each of the different products, various. So we look at products like Verbal Call, which is basically that's the product that will call you. I will talk to you in Spanish, you hear me in English.
Yes.
No app, no internet.
Translation.
It does interpretation on the fly. We had a Verbal on-site, and that's basically you QR code an event and you start listening to the speaker or reading the subtitles on the fly with a QR code on your phone.
How many registered languages are you?
So between languages and dialects, with 152 languages.
That's
and
right.
So what we have find out is that also this now going to markets, education, specific K-12, school districts across the United States has an incredible need. There's a mandate of compliance between teachers and parents, and there's a gap there. We're also seeing healthcare. Most of the budget goes to the doctor and the conversation with the patient, but what happens with the CNA? What happens with the nurse practitioner? So this is some of the niche markets that we're seeing, legal and the court system. We're also seeing receptionists and ultimately customer support, customer service.
So security, let's talk about security.
Yeah.
So when I look at the security marketplace and I look at authentication, right? So when we talk about intercom, right? So Command, a Zenatel, all of which are starting to, we see Ivy being developed for Command. I would say that those are partners potentially for the use of your technology, but I also look at it as multi-factor authentication. When we authenticate at a remote facility, when we have people who speak different dialects and speak different languages, it's very cost heavy on the side of the call center. So I would see you as being maybe the go-between to that heavy call center side, to having an automated version, which say a lot of these companies would be very interested in.
That's correct. So I mean, you nail a very specific niche in terms of the call center. So our technology has biometric speech recognition. So that means that 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 10 individuals can speak on the same microphone, different languages. And as the microphone is actually, or the engine behind it, on the same audio channel is recognizing and partitioning each specific individual with different transcripts and homogenizing all the languages into one language if necessary. So to your point, now you can have a facility, you can have a multilingual doorbell, and it's recognizing every person biometrically on their voice, and it does it on the fly.
What a great opportunity to really look at, in depth, the meat and potatoes of technology, moving into the innovation of where technology meets security, right? And how we all see that, going to shows like CES gives us an expansive understanding of what technology can do to our industry. And frankly, with all the things going on in our world, that us being aware that these technologies are here to really change and maybe mold a lot of what we do in the industry. So it's exciting, and with security business and where they're going with this entire expose of CES and every aspect of what people think and how people think in regards to security with respect to technology at CES show. Fantastic time.
Thanks, Pierre.